There was no shortage of TV movies about domestic violence or otherwise pathologically complicated romantic relationships in the 90s. It seemed like it characterized the TV movie at the time, but most of those movies were exploitation, ripped from the headlines type movies or noir movies, either on Lifetime or a network like that, a cable network, or on a premium channel. But Children of the Bride was a CBS movie, which I'll get to. I didn't even know they were making CBS TV movies like this at the time. One of the characters is being beaten up by her boyfriend, and she's the focus of the movie, but not because of what's happening to her. And it seems to me this movie feels like a Hallmark Hall of Fame movie, but it isn't. It's a Leonard Hill Productions. If you're going to have a serious subject like that in your movie, either make it the point of the movie or just take it out. And I'll get into the details later. It's just kind of treated like an annoyance, but why are you mad though? To the character who it's happening to, it's a setup for a big old joke at the end and also teases further development because Children of the Bride was a trilogy of movies. It was a trilogy of movies starring Rue McClanahan and Christy McNichol as a mother and daughter, but Christy McNichol isn't the main focus. It's an actress named Anne Bobby, who they evidently were giving a push to. I only remember her from Nightbreed and I think episodes of Law and Order, but I don't always keep up with modern movies, so maybe she's doing quite well. Maybe she's a theater actress. She certainly was attractive and charming here. The other big star of the movie is, I can never remember, I always want to call him Bobby Ewing. It's Patrick Duffy, and he's in his 30s. Rue McClanahan is in her 50s. They're getting married, and the title Children of the Bride refers to her four grown children who are all brats that are mad that their mother is marrying a younger man, but they're traumatized by their father leaving when they were teenagers and basically just never coming back. And this manifests in different ways. But like I said, a lot of this is played for comedy. You've got the yuppie brother that likes married women. And the very first thing we see him do is pick up a woman on an airplane and join the Mile High Club, which means they go and have sex in the airplane toilet with the blue water and everything. And, ugh. And another time he gets together with his mother's next door neighbor, and everybody has to distract her husband when he comes home, and it's ho ho hee hee ha ha. Um, there's a brother who has got two kids. One of them has a stupid name. I can't remember. I wrote it down, but he's either spoiling them or he's not spoiling them enough. I'm not sure which. He dropped out of Harvard. Not enough time is spent on his complicated problems, but there's some hints that he may have troubles with anger, as we'll see at the end of the movie. Um, Christy McNichol plays a nun, and she arrives in town on a Greyhound bus in stark contrast to her brothers arriving in an airplane and a pickup truck that's got to be worked on the side of the road with the assistance of the two little girls. Christy McNichol being the big star in the 80s, going into the 90s, not so much, but still a respected actress. She's playing a nun here. She, at one point, throws up and she eats a lot of food. It becomes a running joke that she's eating too much. So you know what that means if you're in a movie and you're eating a lot and you throw up. But the complication of this is that she's a nun. So what happened there is also maybe more interesting than Anne Bobby, who is the character that gets the big push. Her boyfriend is beating her up. As I said, this should have been the focus of the movie, or it should have not been in the movie. But on the other hand, the more I think about it, maybe this is how families treat a situation like this. They complain about her being in a bad mood, being angry, drinking too much, and then in her boyfriend's new girlfriend sees him grab her by the face hard enough to leave finger marks, doesn't call the cops. Her mother's upset, doesn't call the cops, but tries to stop her from drinking some more. Um, and they don't want her to embarrass them at this big rehearsal dinner that they're having before the wedding. But they have it at a fancy restaurant where this violent boyfriend hangs out with his buddies like he's, the guy from Roadhouse that owns the town. And she's saying he's going to be there. Well, don't you drink and sass everyone. Well, that's exactly what she does, and then he grabs her in front of everyone, and so then the brother with the shady or secretive past, punches him. Of course, no one calls the cops from seeing him, grab their sister, daughter, but everyone jumps in, and there's a bar brawl with bar brawl music, and everybody goes to jail except the 2 kids who definitely are in on the brawl because they're biting people on the butt who are on the wrong side of it. And, then, because everyone is angry about their mom having some fun and getting some, it's a question of whether this wedding will take place, but, we know it does because they made 2 more of these movies with, more or less the same cast, I think. Um, there's, an insinuation I accidentally started watching the 3rd movie in the trilogy, and Anne Bobby's character is by that point getting engaged to a cop, and they say, "We met when I pulled you over," but I really think they met, during the bar brawl at the end of the movie. I I God help me, I enjoyed this movie. I enjoyed the funny parts. I was into the drama, but maybe it's my 21st century sensibility. If you're going to make a movie where somebody is in a domestic violence situation, that needs to be the focus and not how many drinks someone had or whether somebody is a rogue with the ladies or didn't buy his daughter enough dresses or whatever's going on here. It's a big old mess. It's CBS, and they were mostly making miniseries at this time, so I was even surprised that this movie existed. But there's a section of YouTube in the studio where I can see like topics that people are looking for. I can't explain or remember how to get to it, but I saw something about Leonard Hill Productions and I didn't know what that was, so I looked it up and I found 3 movies starring Rue McClanahan and Christy McNichol. So I was on board and I had to talk a little bit about that today. I will probably cover the other 2 movies, but I'm gonna go back to the regular '70s movies, I think, for next week. So, I hope I got my point across. I, have been, dealing with some health challenges. I, had cancer a few years ago, and I have to get a shot every month, and, I'm always a little goofy for a couple of days afterwards, but, like and subscribe if you have joined the Mile High Club, meaning that you got high and went out and walked a mile, because I'll go with you. And until next time, uh, be kind and unwind with Erin's Telefilm Talk. Bye.